Realize. We are live now, though.
We are live. We were just chatting, having a grand old time.
Just chatting away. Didn't realize that 7 o'clock our time, whatever o'clock it is, everyone else's time,
Yeah.
rolled around. So, Brandy, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing great. I'm loving Lower Decks, loving talking about it. So,
Me too.
yeah. So, episode 2, Envoys.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I forgot about this. You saw this episode quite a ways back already, didn't you?
I did see it before it was
Hmm.
released, so I have had a little more time with it, but I am not as good at finding Easter eggs as some people. So maybe someone named Dan and
Well,
another person named Aaron Harvey.
yeah, he's definitely good too. I've got my, really quickly screen cap if you want. I've got my 3 pages of Easter eggs going on there. So, yeah, there's lots in this one. So much fun, this episode. And I'd heard this from people who had seen multiple episodes. I get called a CBS shill on my channel, but they didn't send me the episodes. So, I'm not doing a good enough job shilling for them, I guess.
Let me tell you something. I have no idea how just by Bill from Trek Geeks asking me to be included is how it
Uh-oh. Not sure what's happening. Am I frozen or is Brandy frozen?
is.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
It's
I
going
am
to be
not
that kind of show. Yeah. Okay. Okay, universe. You threw down the gauntlet. Thanks.
I have to admit, I'm not sure if that was my end or your end. I think, that was
Mine.
your end. Okay, so everybody was
Absolutely
treated to me going for like a
Yeah.
minute. Cool.
No, it
Okay.
was totally me. It was totally me. And it was very annoying. And
Oh,
I
I'm so used to it
am
being me. I thought it was me. So.
Yeah, I am sick to death of my internet company not fixing our loose connection because it has to be outside. It's nothing inside because nothing's been changed inside. Nothing's been moved inside. Nothing. Anyway.
Oh, great.
I don't
Yeah.
even remember what I was saying. It doesn't matter.
Oh man, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've been having those issues like crazy too. So it's internet in Canada is sometimes a fun thing. So
It's
yeah.
sometimes a fun thing here too.
Oh, great. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to what the freeze frame was, but apparently everyone screen capped it and thought it was really funny. So
fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, I do remember what I was saying. I don't know what kind of pull Bill at Trek Geeks has, but I thank him for it because I've never had screeners for anything ever in my life. So that was like a really exciting thing for me that made me feel important for 2 seconds.
That's pretty cool. Someday that would be neat. I would love that. I've gotten like advanced copies of books before, but never episodes. That's pretty amazing.
I've beta read some books for a local author, but as far as getting advanced copies of books, no, it's never happened to me.
No, it's pretty cool. Yeah. But episodes, I just like, that blows me away. That's neat. Anyway, we need to talk about how that happened and what that process was like at some point, for sure.
Yeah.
So to start out with, this episode begins with another of these Star Trek tropes. We've got an energy being invading the ship. And again, that teaser, completely unrelated to the rest of the episode, never brought up again. I'm kind of loving that format. I love that it's almost like a Short Treks episode right before the credits, and then we go into the main story.
It is. You know what the first thing I thought is like, oh, it's that alien that got Deanna pregnant.
Yep.
That's the first thing I thought. But then it was wanting all the mortals to die, and so I figured, okay, no, this is not the same race.
Yeah, this is more like a, name one of 50 other energy beings. This is like,
Transdimensional energy beings, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, this is like a Trelane. This is like, I don't know, the Sphere Builders. What other transdimensional ones, all powerful beings are there? There's so many. I immediately also thought, because those are the two episodes we get the little orb flying through the ship, is the child, the one you were talking about, but also Imaginary Friend, the little orange one
Mm,
floating through the
right.
ship. I
Mhm.
thought of that too. I was like, but yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. That, of course, was a lot of fun. And then the one thing that I want to talk about the teaser as well is the captain at the end, where she says, "I got to think of something cool to say when we go to warp. How about it's warp
It's warp
time?"
time. Yes.
I love that. Oh, it's just everyone
Yeah.
tries to like bring themselves up to the level of Picard's Engage, and there's just no,
Mhm.
you can't beat it. Like,
No.
there's, yeah.
And he can't
But
copy it because, that's his thing, so
yeah, and you got, I mean, Pike came close with his like little hit it.
hit it.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
well, that
good.
that works for me.
Alt Pike
So
had the punch it, which is, yeah, every time he says punch it in those movies, I hear Chewie after though. Punch it, Chewie, and that's like, doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No.
Awesome. So yeah, we launch into the story. We find out Boimler
Mm.
is going to be escorting a Klingon with an apostrophe in his name down to this planet.
I've
Uh,
already explained there are plenty of Klingon names without apostrophes. I have a list.
yeah, I kind of stole this from you. I'm working on my Easter eggs video, and I did not look any up. I just off the top of my head wrote down as many as I could think of. So I'm curious if our lists are close to the same length or not. But yeah, there are a lot without apostrophes. So
A lot, a lot. I mean, there are a lot with them, but just some of the most famous Klingons, as far as
mhm.
Star Trek in general, have no apostrophes in their names.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and I
Yeah.
feel like if you're gonna do Corinne with an apostrophe, take the O out. Just K apostrophe RIN. Just do that.
Yeah.
Make the apostrophe mean something.
Absolutely. Oh, Suzanne, awesome that Suzanne's here tonight. Glad you could make it. Janeway does it better with Do It. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's specific to the warp drive, but yeah, Janeway delivers a really good Do It.
Mhm.
It's almost on the level of Make It So, I'd say. What do we
Just
also have
yeah.
Jellicoe Get It Done. I kind of enjoyed that a little bit.
Yeah, it's all right. It was just the way he said it.
Yeah, get it done. Especially to Riker, because like apparently Riker had to be told. Anyway,
Yeah, well, he did, but we've already talked about that on
yes, we have.
a previous episode. So yeah. Mhm.
Oh, I never thought of that. Corinne is the Klingon Karen. Huh. I'm gonna have to rewatch that with that in mind now. That's funny.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, we before we get there though, we have Rutherford rooting around in the Jeffries tubes, which is apparently his passion. He just loves, uh, you know, recalibrating things in the Jeffries tubes and stuff. So that was a lot of fun. I like, it's funny. My favorite part of the first episode, I think, was Rutherford and Tendy's bit, Rutherford's bit
Mhm.
most of all. And then in this one, I feel like I really liked Rutherford's story again in this.
Mhm. Well, the adorableness of him thinking, "Well, I have to quit my job so I can watch this pulsar with you." Okay. He just like going with it.
Well, and I love the first time I watched it through, I didn't quite catch it. And I was like, how long a space of time is this taking place over? How quickly can he change divisions? And everyone's just okay with
A
that.
day. A
A
day.
day. She says
A day.
0800 is
Mhm.
when the pulsar is. Presumably that's 0800 the next morning.
Yep.
So, yep, that's one day.
Mhm.
Kind of love that.
He gets a lot
Um,
done in one day.
he really does.
He really
Uh,
does.
One thing I wanted to talk about, and I really like this, is the enthusiasm with which the department heads were like encouraging him. And like we're so used to, with modern television, depicting workplaces and everybody's out to get everybody else and stab each other in the back. And I feel like this episode plays on that and like sets that up as what you're expecting. But then you shift immediately into like what I think of as TNG Trek, where, no, everybody's trying to help everyone else out and fulfill themselves and better themselves than the rest of humanity, as Picard says. And they're like, yeah, that's amazing. Got to be true to yourself.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 departments cheered him on.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also liked, of course, that he's good at engineering and security, and both of them said, yeah, that's fine, kind of thing. And he wasn't so good at medical, which is or command, which is
yeah,
also fine. Yeah.
Well, I think that for one thing, he was doing well in medical until he had to have bedside manner. And
Yes.
the man has no guile, really. So lying to someone about their condition to make them feel better is not within his realm of possibilities there. And plus he's got that Vulcan implant, which just makes him overly logical. So yeah, it was funny.
The robot said I was gonna die.
Yeah. And the whole security thing, I mean, was it him that was good at security, or was it the implant?
Yeah, I mean, it was the implant, but
Yeah, but it's part of him, so it works.
Yeah, like he could have gone really far in that, I think, and had a fulfilling career, but it's not his passion. That's not what he wanted to do.
He was just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I did love his massive fails in this holodeck.
Okay.
All the children on the ship in literally thousands.
Yeah.
Let's try it again with a different ship with even more children.
I love that. It's like, I've run this simulation thousands of times. That has literally never happened. And like, he's just like, let's see if we can do this again with a bigger ship with more kids. I love that. That was so good.
Oh, that made me laugh so hard. Obviously, I'm still laughing.
What do you think the Janeway protocol is?
I'm gonna say that it has something to do with temporal rifts and being pulled in by one.
There's something about that for sure.
Yeah, but there is. I don't know. I'm working my way back through Voyager, so I'm gonna figure it out what the Janeway protocol is.
I like that. And it's like, so what exactly is the Janeway protocol? You're hilarious. Crap.
Which is funny because the whole audience is sitting there going, what? Am I supposed to know what the Janeway protocol is? Yeah. Everybody who watched that episode was thinking that. Every single one.
I hope this becomes a running gag on the show, like Cetacean Ops supposedly will be. Yes. I want them to like reference the Janeway protocol at least every other episode.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think we have some agreement. Aaron figures it's time travel. And Suzanne breaking the temporal prime directive. It involves that somehow, I'm sure. Absolutely.
I'm sure. So she's done that more than once. More than once.
Yeah. I remember in like season 3 where she said, like, I swore I'd never get involved in one of these temporal paradox situations. I was like, oh, you have no idea.
Like, honey, you got so much coming up. Just buckle in, lady. Buckle in.
Absolutely. And we also get what is I think a little bit of a I'd say a homoerotic reference to Star Trek Insurrection, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, but there you go. I gotta find the exact quote if people don't know what the heck I'm talking about. I can't. I have it written down exactly what he said, but anyway, yeah, I can't remember. It was the throbbing pulse of the joystick in your hand or something.
In your hand. Yeah. Yeah.
Loved it.
Mhm.
I feel like I want to see more of Ransom because he's just such a like bro.
Mhm.
You know, Jerry O'Connell in Star Trek. First of all, I'm just like that's amazing,
Yes.
and I want to see it. Judging from the preview for next week's episode, I think there's going to be some fun moments with him there, but we'll leave that for later, I guess. Yeah. All right. Have you seen that one? Oh my
Yes, I
gosh. Okay. Darn it.
I only saw 3. I only saw 3. After episode 3, on the same playing field as everyone else. It's all
Okay.
good.
All right. All right. We'll let it go this time.
I thank you. I appreciate you.
No. So Tendi kind of took a bit of a backseat this episode, I'd say. She's kind of the impetus for what's going on with Rutherford. That said, there's some just like really sweet moments between her and Rutherford that I think are a lot of fun where, you know, that final shot of them in the Jeffries tube watching, well, she's watching the pulsar and he's gaga-eyed over the Jeffries tube. But, you know, that's just such a really sweet image. I love those two together.
Yes, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
They
Do you think,
are I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to ask if you think they're setting up like they're going to be an item or
I think that they will eventually realize that they are an item. I don't think
Mhm.
that I don't think they get that yet. But you know, friends first is always the way to go because once you have that
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Just had to
Yep.
yeah,
That's whew.
offered
Thank
without
you.
further comment.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, friendship first. Once you have a basis in friendship, everything can be built off of that with more security because you have to like the person you get involved with, and sexual attraction is not always enough for that.
Mhm.
So, you know, that's why I've been married for almost 23 years is because I like my husband as a person. I want to
Absolutely, yeah.
spend time with him. And so, yeah, that makes a huge difference in staying together as a couple. So, but no,
Absolutely.
they're adorable together, and I had already mentioned this to Dave that I think that that's where they're going. Actually, I described it like this. I said, "Hey, Dave, do you think that Rutherford and Tendi?" And he said, "Yeah." I
Yep.
was very vulgar about it because, you know, why
I love
not?
it. So yeah, the I guess the A plot of the story I'd say probably is the Mariner Boimler story once again.
Mhm.
So she gets herself attached to the mission, and they're escorting General Corinne down, and we learned that Corinne and Mariner have some history together, some off the books gray ops missions, which is interesting.
Yeah, back in
Hmm.
the day, and he's like, "Back in the day, we're like the same age."
Back in what
Back in
day?
what day? And I was thinking the same thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I felt like that was kind of a dick move for her to get herself attached to that because she obviously knew who Corinne was the moment that Boimler was talking about getting that assignment.
Hmm.
And but at the same time, she also knows what Corinne is like. And she
Yeah.
also thinks Boimler's not going to be able to handle this, which, you know, comes from a place of caring, but at the same time, she didn't even give him the chance to see what he could do. So,
Yeah. And also at the same time, she still did let the shuttle get stolen.
yes, yes, she did. Yes, she did.
No,
There,
even knowing what this guy's like. Yeah.
yeah, and so I feel like, mm, mm, mm. And I also feel like that this assignment that he thought was so important was the assignment that no one else wanted.
Hmm.
Nobody higher than Ensign would have touched that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
And so he is thinking it's really important, and they're all just like, "Oh Lord, not Corinne, that guy's the worst." And
Hmm.
so pushing it off on Boimler, who's of course going to be super excited to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, even that officer at the end at the Federation embassy, when she sees Corinne on the steps, like they've dealt with this before. She's like, "Oh, tell the Cerritos we found Corinne." Oh.
He's just in time for the peace accords.
Mm-hmm. I love that after all that, though, like the shuttle was in front of the Federation embassy. So like Corinne took himself there. Like after he got just totally loaded, he's like, well, I gotta go to these talks now. Like it's pretty responsible Klingon general, really.
Yeah. I mean, if you can work that out when you are blind drunk, then hey, more power to you.
Absolutely. Oh, the other thing is just randomly, I like that we get to see the dress uniform, and it's kind of like a return to the TNG type of dress uniform, just like the regular uniform, but it's longer.
Yes. Yes.
I thought it was cute.
Yes, I did too.
And cute
I
that
love.
he was wearing it. Like,
Yeah.
aw, bless. You think this is worthy of a dress uniform?
Yeah, and she's like, what's you gonna get married afterwards? What are you wearing?
Oh.
Oh, poor Boimler.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Boimler again. So this is the second episode in a row where he's like reduced to tears. And I really feel bad for the guy. Like he had a rough time in this episode. And, you know, between, like he said, he gets a duck tug thrown at his head. He almost has an alien lay eggs in his throat. She had a nice sarong though. So, you know, Mariner pointed that out.
I love your sarong. She's crawling up the building. Yeah. I think the worst that I felt for Boimler was after the bar fight, and he's sitting outside on the crate with his pants around his ankles. And I'm like, why does he have his pants down? And then I remembered him getting hit in the nads by a rock person. So see, that's the thing about women. We don't have a vulnerable spot like that. I mean, you can punch us between the legs and nothing ain't gonna happen. Okay. So so I don't know what that pain is like, but you guys also don't know what menstrual cramps are like. So I think we're even.
This is true.
And
This is absolutely true.
yeah.
Yeah, I've
I
even been asked to describe that pain, and it's just like I can't. Like I don't know. Oh, anyway, we'll leave that all that aside. But yeah, poor Boimler, pants around his ankles,
I
little
feel so bad for him.
bits of metal embedded in his leg, and yeah, the fight with the in the Andorian. Okay, and of course Aaron Harvey is in the chat.
Oh yeah.
The Vendorian, like
Yes.
amazing. Like at this point, how many different shapeshifter species have there been that they could have used? And they reached back to that one in TAS. I love it. Mwah, chef kiss. Perfect.
Yes, of course, because how could you do that in live action without it just looking not real? But you put it in the animated world again, and it's just perfect. It just matches. It's just yes, thank you. Now I'm a little boy. Oh, it was funny. Yeah, I loved seeing a Vendorian. It was very well done and very true to its appearance in the original series as well. So it warmed my little heart.
Oh, it was perfect. So many aliens in the background. Just like
so many.
Oh man, this one was like I was freeze framing for particular aliens and then seeing different ones like way off in the corner. There's a Lurian in this bar fight. Looks awful lot. Yeah, looks an awful lot like Morin.
I did not see that. But I've only watched it 4 times, so I'll have to give it another few watches.
And
like pause it.
Yeah, there was an Aurelian or a Score. They both look the same. So there was one of those. That was one that like I was pausing and cataloging all the other alien races, and then I was just about to move on and saw him in the corner. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yep, yeah, and take that, all the people who say that the writers don't know Trek.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that argument for all of the new incarnations of Star Trek, and it's not true for Discovery. No. It's not true for Picard, but like unassailably, like without even calling it into question, it is absolutely, completely, 100% not true for Lower Decks. These guys know their Star Trek backwards and forwards. It's there's that argument is completely out the window with these guys.
Yep. And poor Jerry O'Connell had his first experience with a troll.
I saw that. I retweeted his reply, which was beautiful.
He's magnificent.
He really is.
So yeah, he was so good natured about it, and like, dude, respect, absolute respect. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So apparently, according to Aaron, and thank you, the animated expert, so they don't look exactly the same, the Score and the Aurelians. Apparently, the Score don't have plumage around their waist. So
there you go. Of course, Aaron
I
would know
bow
that.
to your superior knowledge of TAS.
I drink to you, sir, because I'm thirsty.
Awesome. Okay, what else do we have? So the different districts of this planet. I loved that this was, there's that overhead shot and you see like a Romulan logo in one district and a Klingon in another and Ferengi over here. Just, one of these multicultural planets. There's a Rycian district that, the incident with, I can't remember the name of the alien, but the one who's going to lay eggs in Boimler's throat.
I know. Aaron will know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Our something.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. Began with an A. I know that.
Excellent. I want to be the person in charge of writing the next addition to the Star Trek encyclopedia because there's so much fun stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, so this planet, all the different districts. I like the Ferengi, of course, that we meet. That now, when this happened with Mariner, you knew immediately that it was a setup, right? That Mariner knew exactly what was okay. Yeah.
Mariner has been around. She's been places. She's been on 5 different ships. She's been everywhere. She knew that was a Ferengi. So I'm figuring, that's a friend of hers. She really wanted to make him feel better. Like when he took off his comm badge and threw it in a puddle, and the way she looked at it and looked over at, at him, I'm just like, she really does care.
Mm-hmm.
She really does. And so she did that to make her friend feel better. Thank you,
David Henderson.
I knew.
Thank you so much.
I knew it began with an A, and I knew there was a J in it. And apart from that, I didn't know anything else off the top of my head. Anabash.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the one thing that I guess I wasn't surprised by, but it could have gone either way, was at first I thought it was just a situation that had arisen and Mariner was taking advantage of it to give Boimler a chance to show his stuff, I'm going to pretend that I'm not walking into an obvious trap here. But I did like that the Ferengi did turn out to be just an old friend of hers, a Ferengi with a monocle, which is, I don't think I've ever seen that. That was great.
How's your wife? Oh, we're thinking about getting away to Risa.
That was so sweet.
Oh.
To the point where I want to see that character again. I want to learn more about him. He's just such a nice guy.
Yeah, it was really adorable.
Yeah, because I feel like, if it had been just as it had been shown there, it really felt like a step backwards for the Ferengi. Because he was even wearing a season 1 Ferengi military uniform, the furs, and acting all, doing the hand thing, as Boimler said. And I gotta say, afterwards, Boimler didn't come across that well with his Ferengi racism, which, to be fair, is a constant in Starfleet, it seems, at least in the Next Generation. So yeah, it's he was an obvious Ferengi. And what did he say? They're the least trustworthy race out there or something. It was that line. I was ooh, oh boy.
Well,
I mean,
let's think about all the Ferengi that we've met.
I'm not saying he's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, but I love the way he tripped him up. He's like, "What's your landing code?" And then
Yeah.
this planet requires a landing code and for you to be able to dock. So what's your landing code? So and so that's something that obviously Mariner did not know because she skimmed almost all of the brief, but
Hmm.
didn't really pay attention to the fact that there was an ion shield that kept you from transporting or communicating with anything in orbit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I gotta say, this Ferengi, what was his name, Quint or something like that?
It was like Queeb or something like that. It was
Something, yeah.
yeah.
Quint is what I have written down. But or that's what it sounded like to me. He's a pretty good
No, I
actor.
I watched it with the subtitles. It was definitely not Quint,
Okay.
but it was close.
All right. I didn't watch it with subtitles. I was just going by what I heard. So it very well is obviously wrong. But
Quimp. There it is. Quimp. Quimp.
Quimp. Oh, I like that name better. I'm going to change
Yep.
my notes immediately.
Quimp is much cooler.
Quimp. Yeah, Quint just sounds like a guy's name, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he's a pretty good actor. He, thought on his feet and just like, okay, I'm just gonna pull out a knife now, and
Mhm.
get phasered.
Give me your profit. Like
Oh,
Ferengi would actually say that.
yeah, exactly. He was
Mm,
like reading from the Ferengi stereotype manual or something.
I guess. It was like, "No, give me your latinum," is what you would say, right?
I did like that. Uh, I cannot remember what I was going to say at all. It just left my head. That's crazy. Mid
No,
sentence.
I know
The
the
author of my
feeling.
life hit backspace. I don't know what
Mhm.
happened.
It's a glitch in the matrix, man, sorry.
No.
I've been
Anyway,
glitching all day, so I understand.
yeah. Oh, it was just, I remember what it was. It was a silly comment. I was just waiting for somebody to say, like, didn't they warn you about the Ferengi at the academy? But
Yeah.
anyway. So I think that pretty much covers what happened in the episode. Was there anything that jumped out to you as like a favorite line or a favorite bit in this episode that just, you really enjoyed?
I enjoyed a lot of it. I think one of my favorite things, though, was, when they're trying to guess who got the best assignment. And, Mariner mentioned someone, I can't remember who it is now, it was a very alien name that began with a J, had an apostrophe in it, because
Oh yeah.
subtitles, and she's like, "That guy can do anything, what a snack, wow."
I like that too. Um,
I just thought, "I have new terminology for hot men. Thanks, Tendy."
it was pretty good.
Ooh,
We also got our first real look at engineering, which was kind of
mhm.
cool. I like that warp core. I like the set. This is me. I'm Boimler. I'm like, ooh, look at that warp core. This looks really cool.
Yeah, and I'm the one looking at Commander Billups and remembering, oh yeah, his, ability to talk to women is like that guy's Final Frontier.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was who they were talking about.
I didn't.
I
I'm
hope
like,
we
"Oh, it's that
see. Nice. Yeah, I hope we see a lot of these little things pay off later. I
Yes.
think that'd be pretty funny. Yeah, favorite part for me, I think it's a tough one. I think honestly, it was that final conversation with Quimp
Mhm.
on the pad with just something about a Ferengi with a monocle just really
So
tickles me. I
great.
think that's hilarious. I really want to see that.
Yep. I also loved when, Mariner, stops the bar fight by offering to buy the next 5 rounds, and she's carried off, and she's like, "Excuse me, sir, I don't know you. That's Starfleet property you're handling."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
whoops. Pajok was.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Aaron. Yeah.
I
Marge
knew there
says
was a date.
I warmed up to Rutherford this episode. Yeah, he was. there's something really likable about Rutherford. Like
Mhm.
he's just a nice guy, you know.
He
Um,
is. He's again kind of without guile. So you know where you stand with him at all times.
mhm, absolutely. And M says, I enjoyed how encouraging all the senior officers were to Rutherford. That was one of my favorite bits as well. I thought it just felt very Star Trek in this. It was really good. And
Yeah.
yeah, I like TJ's comment. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. No, you go ahead. We're good.
Okay. I was just going to say, I also love TJ's comment that I really appreciate that none of the humor so far punches down.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm noticing that as well. They're it's never at the expense of someone lower on the totem pole, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
I do too. I also really loved Smorgasbord.
Yes. Smorgasbord was good. Somebody mentioned that further up in the comments as well.
Yeah. And there was Rutherford pulling out an eye just to piss off all those people who complain about eye violence.
I did not
So,
catch that.
oh yeah, it was the very last kill where he's just
Yeah.
pulls an
I
eye
mean,
and then he drops it on the ground.
yeah, I caught him doing that, but I did not make that connection. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I owning the trolls a little bit, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. If so, I'm behind that. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not something that bothered me. Uh, I do have a difficulty seeing eye violence, but I don't get angry at eye violence. I just look away,
Mhm.
and then when
Makes
it's
sense.
over, I tune back in.
Yeah. A comment I saw online recently, and it just set my mind to thinking, and I don't know if this is at all what they were getting at, and I don't think it is or anything like that. But the fact that Rutherford is so quick to just kind of change his career with second thoughts later, obviously, but like he wants to spend time with Tendi, so he's like, "Oh, I'm going to change my career. I'm going to do all these things." Someone was wondering if it was like not intentionally, but Tendi's pheromones were like affecting him like the Orions on Enterprise did. But
No, I
I
don't
don't think
think
so
so.
either. But I was like, oh, that's clever.
Yeah, no, I don't think that has anything to do with it whatsoever. That was I think that when he said, "Well, all I gotta do is quit my job and I wouldn't be working in the Jeffries tubes all the time and I could watch that pulsar with you." And I don't think she took him seriously at all.
Mm-hmm.
She and that's clear later on when she's like, "It's not like you went and tried all those other jobs just to spend time with me." And he's like, "No, of course not."
Oh, it's adorable. Those two are so cute.
They are so cute. They're so enthusiastic, and they're also both really good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And, if they turn into a romantic pairing, I am totally fine with that. I definitely ship them. I hate that those words came out of my mouth.
Oh,
Wrong. Seems wrong. Seems wrong. Okay. Sorry.
no, no. I agree. I like TJ's comment here. Shax has his own personal Kobayashi Maru. He says that the smorgasbord
Teaches
simulation is,
to
yeah,
teach you how to deal with defeat.
exactly. Rutherford just kind of accidentally breezed through it. Oh, and in that whole fight, there's if you know this or if someone in the comments know this, I'm not familiar with the movie, but that one camera move where he's flat on the ground and the camera follows him as he comes up and then he hits the Borg, that's apparently right out of a film of some kind, where someone gets like upgraded as far as their fighting skills and stuff goes. So if anyone in the comments, or Brandy, you're giving me a
I
blank look too.
No. I mean, I can think of situations where that was used, but I don't know where it originated.
Mm.
So
I saw some people referencing it as like right out of a movie, and I should have saved this tweet, but somebody had like animated gifs back to back of the two shots, and other than kind of being mirrored, it's exactly that same move. So that was pretty
Mhm.
cool.
I'll
Yeah.
bet someone in the chat knows.
Hmm.
Looking at you, chat.
Okay. I like this too. So M says, I think it demonstrated that he's a naturally selfless person. He assumed she wouldn't choose to spend time with him instead, but learned something very sweet. Of course she would. Yeah. I love that. Like, no big deal. I can watch it on the pad. And he's like, you don't need to go to an observation deck. It's like, no, I just want company. That's so sweet. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah. And she even crawled into a Jeffries tube to do it.
Yeah. Upgrade. That might be the name. That might be the movie that people were talking about, which makes sense. That sounds right. Yeah.
Could be.
But wasn't The Matrix. It was definitely one that I've never seen. But anyway. Yeah, I guess final thoughts and a rating, I guess, for the episode. I'm not a big fan of the numerical ratings. For me, like other people can give numerical ratings. For me, I'm like thumbs up, thumbs down. For me, huge thumbs up. I really liked this episode. I think it's I would give this episode one really great mission that is actually an award, not escorting a Klingon general.
I feel this way. I feel the way about this episode the same. I let me try that in a way that actually makes sense. The way I feel about this episode is how Tendi looks at the pulsar.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah. And similarly, how Rutherford looks at the Jeffries.
And EPS contacts.
It really is.
His are aligned as hell. And now he's got to recalibrate them all.
Absolutely. TJ gives it 5 out of 5 flagons of Warnog. That's a really good rating. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, great thought here. When we enjoy spending time with a person, we don't care where we do so as long as we're with that person.
True.
So true. Chris Hill gives the episode 3 Ushans Ready to Strike.
Yes.
Liam gives it a Janeway Protocol. Whoa.
Of course he does.
David, 5 out of 5 Red Sarongs. That's a good one. Patrick, 5 out of 5 Blast Shields. So yeah, this is the episode,
blast
of course.
Shield, it's a blast shield. It goes up and it goes down. Blast shield.
Oh man.
I'm gonna guess
voice. Like she's a musician too.
She's a musician and a singer. I bet she improvised that. I bet they just said, "Hey, just improvise it," and she did, because she has improvised music before. She's no stranger to that. So I'll bet she just improvised that. Let's ask her on Twitter, see if she responds.
Yeah, totally. Marge gives it 4 out of 5 joysticks. Definitely a good rating. 8 out of 10 smorgasbords. Ooh, that's a menacing rating, but I like it. All of the sarongs.
Yes, all of the sarongs.
Aaron gives it 1 Vendorian disguised as 5 out of 5 stars. So that's good, I think.
I think that he liked it.
I think so.
No, I know that he did.
Suzanne, I like this one. My enjoyment was equal to Mariner's enthusiasm for the blast shield. So yeah.
Blast shield.
5 out of 5 Kirk's hands.
Oh yeah, she does do a Kirk's hands in the bar fight. Right before
does she?
Yes, she does.
Shoot.
And she even says Kirk hands when she's got the phaser, and then she gets up on the table and starts shooting
I totally
the phaser at the ceiling. Yeah, she says Kirk hands.
Wow, I totally missed that. That's awesome.
It's great.
Whoops. 5 out of 5 eggs in the throat. Is that a good rating? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's good for the audibage, but she apparently improvised the sentient cave thing.
That's not surprise me.
Hilarious, because that was my favorite line in the first episode. That's amazing.
You guys, I've been listening to her improv for literally years. She is amazing.
Do you know, this just makes me so sad, though, that we haven't gotten the official Star Trek podcast Prime Directive that she was supposed to host, that was supposed to start like October or November last year, and then we've just never heard anything about it. Like a Star Trek podcast hosted by her? Come on.
It would be
Oh,
amazing.
man. I wish we knew what was going on with that. But
let's ask her on Twitter, see if she
I have twice, and she's not responded. So, and she's responded to other tweets. So I feel like it's something that she's not supposed to talk about or something.
There you go.
I could be wrong, but
if she's not saying anything about it, then that's probably why. Because she's,
yeah.
I think from what I've seen, she's really good to the people who have been talking to her on Twitter. Unless you're a troll, if you're a troll, she'll own you. But
beautiful to see. No, yeah, she's great on Twitter, but I have brought that up a couple times, and there's been other tweets that she's not responded to because I'm sure she gets thousands. But yeah, she never did mention that one, and it was supposed to come out in October or November, so that was well before there was any kind of pandemic concerns that would have delayed it. So the best I can think of, and this is just total wild speculation, is it was delayed for some other reason, and then the pandemic kiboshed it. Is possible, but
that's quite probable. Maybe someday it will be reinvigorated and we'll get to have that. And if not, well then, it's not like we won't have more Tawny Newsome somewhere. So I don't know if she was fully prepared or any of them were fully prepared for being people on Star Trek, because you can tell a person, look, your life is going to dramatically change and you are going to be known for this for the rest of your life. And I think they're probably like, yeah, I get that. But until they experience it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just happy for all of them because I think they're all brilliant.
Oh, they're amazing.
Everybody doing voices on that show. Why isn't there an Emmy for voice acting?
That's a great question.
Or an Oscar for voice acting?
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like they deserve that recognition, because it is way harder to do voice acting than to do any other kind of acting, because they only have their voice. That is all they have.
Absolutely.
They don't have their bodies. They don't have facial expressions, none of that. They just have their voice. And to communicate what they do with just their voice, that they should be getting Emmys and Oscars, I'm saying.
Yeah. It's, and the other thing about it too is 9 times out of 10, and there are shows that are the exception to this, but for animation, it's usually one person in a booth reading their lines for the script. They're not acting against their co-stars. Some shows do that, but for the most part, they're just delivering lines. They're told what in the script is going on, but they don't have that added assistance of being able to play off other people. And some shows I've watched and some films I've watched, you can absolutely tell, and it's poorly done. And other shows I've watched, it's amazing, and you can't believe that these people aren't in the same room because they're doing an incredible job. And I mean, that can be the director, that can be all kinds of things, but when it comes down to the performance, like that's the voice actor, and the good ones are amazing.
They truly, truly are.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. So I haven't heard her podcast, Yo, Is This Racist? I've been wanting to check it out. David says her podcasting partner for Yo, Is This Racist told her popularity would skyrocket with Star Trek. And I mean, we've definitely seen that. And I cannot wait to see these people at a convention someday when we're doing that again. Oh,
well, I've been a fan of especially Eugene Cordero and Tawny Newsome for years. Never thought in a million years I would get within 1,000 miles of them. And now that possibility exists with conventions. Maybe someday.
That's amazing. I can't wait to meet all of them. Yeah. This is quickly turning into just a gush fest for Lower Decks, but it's
Mhm.
good. I really really enjoy it, and
Yeah.
people just call me a CBS shill all they want. Whatever. I'm enjoying the heck out of this show.
You know, if you're enjoying something, that is something to shout about.
Hmm.
And if people want to try to stamp out that joy by acting like that you expressing that joy is somehow wrong, well, those people are just sad and unhappy.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for them because they can't enjoy something. So, if you would rather focus on something that you hate rather than something that you love, that's not a very fun existence.
Yeah. No, if I
So,
didn't like this, I wouldn't watch it. I mean,
exactly.
I'd give it a shot, but I definitely wouldn't be doing 4 different podcasts and shows about it every week. Like,
Two for me. So,
it's exhausting, but I love it. This is what I'm spending my time on. So,
I know that's the thing is we're doing this for the love of doing it. It has nothing to do with being a shill and just has to do with loving Trek and loving new incarnations of it. Granted, this could have gone a completely different way and not been something that would have appealed to us, but it didn't. It's great. We love it. And yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
okay.
TJ says nothing wrong with Gush Fest except for the fact that the word Gush Fest sounds truly icky. Honestly, I don't even know what word was going to come out of her mouth until it was coming out. And I was like, Gush Fest, I guess. I don't know. I'm operating on not a lot of sleep. I'm going to be honest.
I
I don't even know what I'm
understand.
doing.
No, I feel you. I feel your pain because it has been a week in
Hmm.
this neck of the woods as well. So
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm like, at the same time, just I love the fact that there's 8 more weeks of Lower Decks, and truly sad that there's only 8 more weeks of Lower Decks.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
But just think about it. You can rewatch it as many times as you want
yep,
and see
absolutely.
something new every single time
It's
because
true.
it's freaking genius. All the references that have been in there.
I've
Just
watched it
wow.
4 times, and the last time I watched it, I was pausing it every 2 seconds and writing down Easter eggs and stuff, and I still didn't catch Kirk hands. I'm still mad. Like, I'm like, as soon as we're done here, I'm going back and like, I can't believe I
Subtitles.
missed that. Yes.
Subtitles.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
that that helps a lot because sometimes the Easter eggs are in the dialogue. So,
Hmm. Definitely. Speaking of Easter eggs in dialogue, and I used this as my little caption, the power walking like section 31. Um, I do have to admit that part of my brain back here is going like, I'm a little annoyed that Boimler knows about section 31, but it was almost worth it for that joke.
mhm.
Because I loved that. Like, I'm just like picturing a Section 31 recruitment video where they're all power walking and showing the proper like butt wiggle to do for the Section 31 power walk. I don't know. And they're all squeaky because they're wearing those leather Section 31 outfits.
Well,
Oh,
the thing is that it seems like by this time in the timeline, freaking everybody knows that Section 31 exists. It's like
apparently.
old news. That doesn't mean s the CIA exists, and we don't know 99% of what they do.
Yeah.
So, just because you know it exists doesn't mean that they're not doing shady gray ops stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And also, Kyung has a great point here. 8 more weeks of Lower Decks means only 9 weeks to Discovery. Glass half full. Absolutely.
There is that.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to Discovery as well. Like, again, that's the mixed bag though, because like when
Mhm.
Discovery comes, Lower Decks will be over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
But then I
really
have
excited.
so many things I can just rewatch over and over and over, like I've done with Discovery. So, and
Yeah.
I need to do that with Picard, but I'm waiting for this weekend in September where I will have 4 days off and I'm literally going to watch all 10 episodes back to back. So, oh, by the way,
Mhm.
Dave, I'm going to do that during that 4-day weekend. I didn't really tell you about that, but now you know.
Married a Star Trek fan. What are you gonna do? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
well,
just
he's a Star Trek fan too. Yeah. Not the
absolutely.
same level per se, but
Mhm.
a fan is a fan.
Yeah, definitely. Somebody in the chat here mentioned donating money over chat. I've been asked this a few times, like doing super chats and that kind of thing. I feel really, really weird about asking for money directly to people commenting.
Mhm.
Uh, People want to do that on their videos. All the power to them. I'm not criticizing that at all. I just feel really weird about it. I do have a Patreon for the channel, which is, I don't get a lot of money from that, but I appreciate that. That's nice. But I feel weird about like, oh, so and so just paid $5 to read their comment. No, I'm
Mm.
not going to do that. That feels, I don't like that. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what the difference is really, but it feels icky, to borrow a word mentioned earlier.
It feels like one of those troll channels, that people will literally pay money to listen to them trash Star Trek,
Hmm.
and that makes me feel it's skeevy. It's skeevy. That's the word for it. It's just skeevy.
Yeah. Again, other channels want to do that. I'm not, that's fine. That's totally okay. I just don't feel comfortable myself. So yeah. Anyway, any final thoughts about the episode before we wrap this up, I guess?
I enjoyed it very much. I love to see relationships developing. And it's nice to see a new relationship because Tendi is the new person. And so she's forming new relationships with the groups that have already been there. And, but you can see also the progression of Mariner's and Boimler's relationship and how she really does care and really
Hmm.
does want him to stay, because she could have just as easily not done anything and treated him like a thorn in her side, and now he was somebody else's problem on a planet researching insects, and the, then the only way that they find out what went wrong is by seeing his final video, shaky video logs.
I thought that was good. Um, yeah, I really like Tendi in this one too. Like you said, there's that line that she says, I don't have a lot of friends here. So, I like that there's that acknowledgement of, these are real people. They're animated people, but they're real
Mhm.
people in a real job. And the show is treating them as such. They're not just punchlines to a joke. These are four
No.
characters that have heart, and there's a real warmth there. And like you said about Mariner and Boimler, last episode we had Boimler saying to Mariner, Starfleet is better with you in it. And this
Mhm.
episode was Mariner showing Boimler that he has a place in Starfleet as well. And
Yeah.
she says that to him. She says, yeah, Starfleet needs cool sci-fi badasses like me, but they also need nerdy, bookish people who know their stuff like you as well. I thought that was really sweet. That was really good kind of juxtaposition to last week's.
Oh,
Uh,
look who is sliding into the chat at the last minute.
what?
What? Where you been, child?
He's got a link. He could have joined us in here, but whatever.
It's fine.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi,
Good to see you
Bruce.
here. Yeah, so I guess that about wraps it up. Next week we've got Temporal Edict is episode 3, and you've seen it. Darn it.
Mhm.
I don't I I had a guess in my video that there's a particular still that was in that episode, but I don't think it is, actually, looking into it further. I thought this would be the episode that had Mariner with the conspiracy board with the whales and all that stuff.
Mm-mm.
But apparently that's from an even later episode. So,
Mhm.
darn it.
I can confirm that is not in this next episode.
Okay.
I
All
will
right.
not confirm or deny anything else.
All right. Well, with that title, Temporal Edict, I'm excited. Time travel shenanigans, maybe. I won't ask you to say anything, so don't
Not
worry.
saying a word.
All right. Well, where can people find you when you're not talking about Lower Decks here on this channel?
Too many places. I say that every time. Join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on the Twitch channel Outpost 13 for Infinite Trek, me and Aaron Harvey. And we're going to delve into some stuff in that Lower Decks episode as well. And you think, oh, well, you've already talked about it here. No. Different people, different conversations. Let me tell you.
Absolutely.
You will absolutely have different conversations. The chat will be different people as well. So yes, I do not run out of things to say about Lower Decks, you guys. So join us for that. It's a lot of fun. And then I have some podcasts. I have the Vedic Assembly, Deep Space Nine podcast, which I do with my friends Liam and Nick. And I do Boldly Go with my friend Suzanne, which is about Strange New Worlds coming up sometime in the decade. And I do a podcast with my husband Dave called The Dark Corner, and I do a solo podcast called Headcanon. We talk about nerdy stuff on both of those. Headcanon is it's my crazy brain and all my fandoms that are in my crazy brain. And you can find those on Dark Corner podcast. No, sorry. Yes, Dark Corner podcast.com. I know what I'm saying. See, I told you. I knew how you felt. And you can find the other podcasts. With our website isn't quite finished yet, but you can still find them on Apple Podcasts and all of the other podcatchers. Just look for Vedic Assembly or Boldly Go and you will find us. And I don't think I have anything else to talk about except for one thing that I haven't quite fully announced yet.
Ooh.
So
excellent.
Coming soon.
That's exciting. In addition to all the stuff that I do on this channel, which, is including Lower Decks reviews, Lower Decks deep dives, book reviews, comic reviews, all that stuff, you can find me on Positively Trek. That's, of course, our podcast that I do with Bruce Gibson. We have three aspects of it, basically. It's hard to explain. So on every other Friday, we have the Positively Trek book club, and we've had one come out so far where we talked to Margaret Wander Bonanno about her famous early Star Trek novel, Strangers from the Sky. Great novel, great discussion. That was a lot of fun. Next week, we have David Mack on the show. We're going to be talking about his new book that just came out, More Beautiful Than Death, the Kelvin Timeline novel. And then the other two shows, we have what we call our flagship show that comes out on Tuesdays. That's just Bruce and I have a Star Trek discussion and talk about the latest news in the world of Trek. For those of you out there probably not watching this, but people out there who haven't seen Lower Decks and don't want spoilers, we keep that episode spoiler free for Lower Decks. We know the international audience don't have any legal way to watch it, so we're respecting that as much as we can. But on Mondays, we have our Lower Decks review episodes come out. So that'll be every Monday for the run of Lower Decks. And then, of course, after those 10 weeks, it will turn into a Discovery review podcast where we talk about episodes of Discovery. So that's what we're working on. That's our big project right now. And we're having a lot of fun with it. And we hope you guys listen and enjoy as well.
Yes, I have to say one thing to Bruce. Bruce, darling, you haven't seen Pride and Prejudice until you've seen the 5.5-hour miniseries with Colin Firth and Jennifer Ely. It is the best version of Pride and Prejudice that has ever existed.
You got told.
And I know my mom is watching and she is just shouting yes at the top of her lungs.
Awesome. All right. Well, that is outside my area of expertise, but thank you for the insight into that. And have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you again next week for Temporal Edict.
We had temporal distortions.
Oh, did I?
You broke up. It was
no.
It was an ion field interference.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just saying goodbye. So.
Well, okay then. I guess live long and prosper.
All right. Live long and prosper. Have a great